All right, now on to our hot subject. Stubborn inflation not only affects your ability to afford many things, including a home, it also leads to high interest rates in the economy, a double whammy for the middle-income home buyers. That's perhaps the reason why finally RBI has aligned priority loans in housing to the current market values. The Reserve Bank of India notified recently that housing loans of up to 50 lakh rupees for homes costing 65 lakhs. So there is, of course, a double descriptor of when you will be eligible. In India's top 6 cities will be eligible for priority loans. Now, this limit was earlier, remember, just 25 lakhs, and that was blanket across the country. 6 metros, what have they been named? Mumbai, New Delhi, Chennai, Kolkata, Bengaluru and Hyderabad. Not to say that smaller cities have been left out. The cost of home here, the limit has been set lower. It's not 65 lakhs, it's 50 lakh. And the loan value is lower by 10 lakhs at 40 lakh. Now, how will it work? In reality, will that benefit which will go to the bank get passed on to the customer? Let's welcome Harshvardhan Rungta, CFP Rungta Securities Private Limited. Harshvardhan, thank you very much for joining us. It's been a long time since we did a show together. So tell me, what do you think? I mean, I'm already hearing from housing finance companies and some banks murmuring that they really can't pass any benefits because already their home loan rates are priced so close to the base rates. Is that true and correct?
Well, Manisha, partly yes, that the current home loan rates are very close to the base rate, or there is a marginal spread that they have over the base rate. However, if we see the initiative by RBI and the notification that they've given last Tuesday, well, it's a very interesting one. What is it going to how is it going to benefit the banks and the infrastructure sector as a whole? Let's understand the implication. What was the scenario pre this notification? Now, banks raise the funds by the way of deposits, which have a tenure of about, say, 2 to 3 years. And if they were to lend to an infrastructure sector, the entire period would be about, say, 10 to 15 years. So there was an asset liability mismatch for the bank. With regard to the infrastructure projects, there was a huge risk that they ran for refinancing of this funding limits that they had. So what the government and RBI intend to do now is provide some kind of a secured long-term funding options to the infrastructure sector. So now what RBI has done, they've allowed banks to now issue long-term bonds which could have a minimum tenure of 7 years, and then use those funds to fund the infrastructure subsectors and the affordable housing sector, because they think that there needs to be some kind of a thrust and push in that sector. Now, what is going to happen? The funds that they raise through these bonds are exempted from any CRR requirements, which are currently at 4%, the statutory liquidity ratio, which is at 23%, and the priority sector lending norms. So these things basically were pushing up the cost of funds for the banks. Now, in case of these bonds, where all such limits are not applicable, you will see that the cost of funding for the bank, the cost which it raises the deposit or raises money, should come down by about 50 basis points to 100 basis points. Now, what happens because of this? They are supposed to ideally pass this on to the infrastructure sector. So this could be basically developers, could be project financing companies, could be power sector. They're supposed to forward this benefit to the infrastructure subsectors and the affordable housing, which is defined by, as you just explained, the 65 lakh should be the property value, and the loan would be 50 lakhs in case of metros, and 50 lakhs and 40 lakhs in case of all other areas. Now, if this is how it is going to go, you should definitely expect, though bankers would refuse to pass on the benefits, but theoretically there is a spread which the investor or which a housing finance, the buyer, the home buyer should get. Now, in our opinion, at least a 25 basis point to 50 basis points should be passed on to the home buyer. And if and when so happens, and if you take the calculations, if you're supposed to understand the calculations, let's see, a 25 basis points reduction in the interest rate leads to a 16 rupees saving in the EMI per month per lakh. So in case you have a loan and your interest rate gets reduced by 25 basis points, you will save an EMI of 16 rupees per lakh per month. So what happens in this case? Of course, your EMI will come down, or else you're eligible to take a higher loan. So it should basically, in my opinion, translate and trickle down to the home buyer. But let's hope and wait that it definitely so happens.
So overall impact, do you think could be, I mean, I saw a KPMG report and you've also outlined some numbers. put both the benefits, one in the budget where you now get an increased deduction for interest that you pay on your home loan, that's gone up from 1.5 lakhs to 2 lakhs. Add to that and assume that, okay, in this intensely competitive environment, someone's going to bite the bullet and say, hey, it's a huge market on affordable housing now, which I need to garner. In fact, HDFC says they have 40% of that market, and therefore I must reduce the rate. So together, how much do you think somebody who's buying a 65 lakh home, taking a 50 lakh loan would benefit in a year? Would the sum be around ₹1 lakh per year?
Well, see, if you take the financials, with regards to the taxation, that the tax benefits that he gets because of the interest eligibility being increased from 1.5 lakhs to 2 lakhs under Section 24, well, there is definitely some savings there, which is going to be helping the individual in any form. Well, regards to the affordable housing and the competition which will force banks to probably reduce rates, I really hope it does, because if you see earlier, the banks always complained that the non-banking housing, non-banking finance companies or the higher housing finance companies do not have any such restriction or the CRR requirements, the SLR, the priority sector lending norms. No, these things are not applicable to housing finance companies. These are not applicable to the NBFCs. And banks are mandated to do so. So their cost is high and they're not able to pass that on. And now this is one of the reasons you will see that we've also started hearing about the talks coming into action again for HDFC Bank and
Right.
HDFC Limited being merged. Because there is no real reason to have two separate entities doing the same function. And now banks are also allowed to raise capital and raise funds without CRR and SLR requirements. So why would a housing finance company, HDFC Limited or bank, concurrently operate in the market? So,
Okay.
This is the one paradigm shift that you will see, that they become at par with NBFCs or HFCs. Now, how much should competition dictate terms? Well, it is yet to see. But as I said, I'm hoping that this benefit will be passed on. I only fear, the repercussion of this would be, one, the banks would have reduced their cost of funding by almost 50 to 100 basis points. If they pass that on, the first beneficiary is going to be the infrastructure companies. Now, they
Okay.
are going to get a surety of funds which are going to be for longer periods. They are going to get funds at probably a little cheaper price. Now, if it is not ultimately
All right.
passed on to the end consumer, you will see the builders or the housing construction companies holding on to price even more. The ability to hold on to the prices increases now because they've got easy funds available to them. So again, the prices will not reduce. But if otherwise, if interest rate benefits are not passed on to individual buyers, then there is no use of this kind of a particular operation, because it only benefits the banks and the infrastructure companies.
All right, we do think that right now probably affordable housing is a more cushioned market than infrastructure. I'm not so sure, Harshvardhan, how many bankers would be running behind infrastructure. They already have huge bad debts on that front. But thank you very much for outlining for our viewers so clearly. So we are also keeping our fingers crossed that RBI has eased norms for affordable housing and in fact changed the limits to something which is more believable now. Budget homes don't come in less than 65 lakh rupees in a large city. So we hope that in the next quarter, at least 3 months, we will see a reduction for those ticket size of loans by at least 0.25% and even maybe going up to 0.5%.